Well, I'm still here in northern Georgia, and it's raining all day, so I've had plenty of time to watch the news and listen to things and read. And I wanted to talk some more about that radio commercial, political radio commercial I heard on my way up as I was driving around Atlanta, because there was something about it that I didn't mention in yesterday's video, which I said, they seemed to be as if they were implying that people weren't going to vote for Biden, but they wanted you to vote for this African American congresswoman who's running for re-election. The other thing when I thought more about the commercial, I realized things that they didn't do and didn't say in that commercial. Now, one of the things we hear in the narrative all the time is that Donald Trump is racist. This is a vote about Donald Trump, not so much a vote for Joe Biden. It's against Donald Trump. And, Donald Trump is anathema to the African American community. All these stories about Trump having better appeal with the African American community are just bull. And yet, when I thought about the commercial, it's strange that one of the things one word that never occurred in that commercial for the African American congresswoman seeking re-election was the word Trump. She never mentioned Donald Trump, which I thought, think of it, it's kind of odd. You would think if he was such a polarizing figure, something that was going to help get votes out, you'd mention, vote for me, help stop Donald Trump. She never mentioned Trump in the commercial. And she never mentioned Joe Biden either, which is kind of strange. She didn't mention Kamala Harris. She didn't mention anybody on the national ticket. And I think that's kind of indicative of something else. Now, Biden was here yesterday, not where I'm at. I'm on, it's really hazy out because it's raining, but across behind me is a lake, and on the other side of the lake is South Carolina. So basically, I drove up from Florida, so I went through, north to south, the entire state of North Carolina. I'm sitting here a stone's throw from South Carolina. I mean, from Georgia. I went all the way through Georgia. But I've seen one sign going through the entire state for Joe Biden. I've seen lots of Trump signs, many, many, many more. And I've seen loads, especially around here, of what some people are calling the secret Trump sign, which is the American flag. You put a Trump sign out, you're asking for somebody to steal the sign. So you put an American flag out, it's safer, and people know, if you're a Biden supporter, you're not likely to be flying an American flag in front of your house. At least that's what people believe. And if you take that to be true, there's this, I've seen nothing but support for Trump in this state. But Biden was here yesterday. He did have an event. Joe Biden doesn't have rallies. And he had, if you see most of the video, what they're showing on the media, it's, him talking and going through his spiel as he usually does. But somebody on Twitter posted not a video, but a photo, still shot, taken from sort of off Biden's left, looking out at the audience. And what they had 40 of those white circles, spaced 6 feet apart for social distancing. They don't want to become a super spreader event. And in the center of each circle, there's a chair. But if you look at the circles, and I counted, there are at least 40 of them, maybe a little more. Many of them, there's nobody in the chair. So that Joe Biden campaigned yesterday in Georgia, had an event in, I think, Warm Springs, Georgia. And the crowd size was under 40, not counting Secret Service, media, staff. Under 40 people. And what we're told is, according to the polls, Biden's leading in Georgia between 3 and 7 points, depending on which poll you look at. And he's going to flip the state blue. Joe Biden's going to flip this state blue. And he has an event, a rallies of sorts. And he can't get 40 people? I don't know. I see that, and it's just, maybe they know something I don't know, but I don't see any enthusiasm for that. And then you combine that with what I've seen traveling all the way across the state on Monday, And that commercial I heard with the African American Congresswoman doesn't even mention Trump or Biden and seems to suggest that people are not likely to vote, but please come out and vote for her. I don't think it looks good in Georgia for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris at all. But you know, that's what the polls tell us, that they're going to flip the state blue, and we'll see. I mean, I saw another poll today, Minnesota, with Wisconsin. I forget, it was Wisconsin or Minnesota, but the poll had Biden up by 17. Now, I could believe a poll that said Biden was up by a couple points, maybe even 5 points. But to win a state by 17 points that Trump won 4 years ago, to have that kind of a shift in the vote, it doesn't, I don't know what their polling process is, but it doesn't seem conceivable to me that you could have that big of a switch of 17 points in a single state. Maybe it was Minnesota. I just don't see it. And it's like we're just being fed all this crap is just flooding out. And it makes you really wonder what they think they're doing. Because in a week, if they're right, fine. But if they're wrong, they're going to totally lose legitimacy. If they're all, especially when they're all wrong. And then you have to ask, if say Trump carries Minnesota and they had Biden winning by 17, what the hell is happening? And it's interesting. Tomorrow, I won't be back home, but both Biden and Trump are going to be in Tampa, Florida. They're both campaigning there tomorrow. Joe Biden's off today, but he'll be in Florida tomorrow. And I guess he can campaign every other day. I guess they shoot him full of steroids and uppers or something. I don't know how they get the guy out there to go out and babble along. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in Tampa. What kind of a crowd does Joe get at his event? I mean, we pretty much figure out what Trump's going to get in Tampa. Because, Hillsborough County, which is where Tampa is pretty strongly Democratic. Not overwhelmingly, but it's heavily Democratic compared to Republican. But all the surrounding counties are mostly Republican. And Tampa's not that big of a town, so you can get there from the surrounding counties relatively easily. So it'll be interesting to see what happened. I know that 4 years ago, I was there, and Hillary didn't come to Tampa at the end. They sent Tim Kaine to campaign. And I actually had a medical appointment I had to go to where I would be driving home through. Tim Kaine was appearing at University of South Florida, USF. And, it's like between faculty, staff, students, like 30,000 people. It was in the fall, during the school year. This was, no COVID then. They were there. And I thought, oh my God, there's going to be a mob. So I decided I would detour and take a different route home and go around the campus. So I would avoid what I thought would be this huge traffic jam of all these people heading to campus to see Tim Kaine and show support. Because Trump had been there a few days before and he had gotten thousands of people, maybe 7,000 people, something like that, 4,000. I don't know what it was. It was a pretty big crowd. So I thought they'd show their support for Tim Kaine and it'd be a big crowd there. Turned out there was no traffic jam. I detoured for nothing. And there were, like 320 people, something like that, showed up to see Tim Kaine. And that led me to believe that, Hillary's going to lose Florida. I mean, if you're a Democrat candidate running for vice president, part of a presidential ticket, and you appear on a college campus with 30,000 people, the overwhelming majority of whom are supposed to be